I'm Jason, UFC, and today we have a story about Thomson says John Jones is not the GOAT because he didn't fight in talented enough weight class. Josh Thomson thinks that the talent available in John Jones' weight class holds him back from being named the greatest fighter in MMA history. John Bone Jones already held the distinction of being considered the GOAT by many MMA fans and MMA fighters, but the 35-year-old only added to his case by claiming a second UFC title in the main event of UFC 285. Was the win was made all the way more impressive by the fact that John Jones was making his heavyweight debut after a 3-year layoff, and he needed just over 2 minutes to hand Cyril Gane his second career loss in MMA. John Jones joined an exclusive list of fighters that have won UFC titles in two different weight classes, but the former UFC and Bellator lightweight Josh Thomson recently told Big John McCartney that there's an important factor holding back his case for considering John Jones the GOAT. I guess I would like to do like a really big deep dive on considering him the GOAT. Thompson began, but I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say like, oh, you're just, it doesn't matter what they're going to say. I don't even care what they say anymore. It's just even if it wasn't John, let's say it was Dan Henderson or say it was Randy Couture, say it was somebody like that, I would still feel the same way. Thompson. John Jones' record lacks top quality fighters. Okay. Haven't competed in okay, let me see. Hold on. Let me just skip that quote. Let's go to this part. Thompson says this about John Jones. Yes, I can say he's the GOAT, but I look at guys at 170 pounds, 155, 145, 135, and Demetrius Johnson, one of like, there wasn't the talent level. He falls under the same as Anderson Silva, 205, and even moving up to heavyweight, there's a lack of option in top quality fighters. Now, everyone was saying, well, John Jones fought Shogun Rua. He fought good guys, but they were also kind of towards, I don't want to say they were towards the end, but they definitely weren't in their prime. Shogun had a lot of miles on him before he even got to the UFC. Let me see. John Jones captured the UFC light heavyweight title by defeating Shogun Rua in 2011 and went on to make his first four title defenses against fighters that were previously UFC champions. Issues, okay, we don't have to get into that. So, yeah, I've read the headline to this story, and I thought I was tripping because my whole argument with why John Jones is the GOAT is because of who he has defeated. Like, I don't really nominate respectfully Habib Nurmagomedov. I could put GSP up there. I kind of had to move Anderson Silva back, obviously because of so many losses in his career. But I would say John Jones and GSP are really high up there. But my argument as to why John Jones is almost clearly the UFC or the MMA greatest fighter of all time is because of who he is defeated when he became champion. If I normally don't do any research. I just try to freestyle, but I'm just looking at John Jones's Wikipedia right now, and if you just look at some of these names, now these aren't just like MMA favorite names. I'm just gonna name people who are literally champions. Brandon Vera currently right now is the one heavyweight champion, I believe, right? Like at this very moment. Ryan Bader, who John Jones defeated, is the current Bellator heavyweight champion. Shogun Hua, who was a champion. Quentin Rampage Jackson was a champion. Lyoto Machida, when we entered the Machida era, remember that? He was a champion. Rashad Evans was a champion. Vitor Belfort was a champion. Chael Sonnen, he has been in, three championship fights, or maybe it was two. Alexander Gustafsson was in a bunch of championship fights. Glover Teixeira was a champion. Daniel Cormier was a champion, right? So it's like, if you look at someone, I'm not looking at Demetrius Johnson Wikipedia and his list of opponents he defeated, it won't even come close. Now, Habib Nurmagomedov comes close, but even the people Habib has fought, they're not on the level of current champions like Brandon Vera or Ryan Bader, right? They weren't on a level of a Machida or a Vitor or Chael, right? So my whole thing is, I don't really this article doesn't really give clearly it doesn't give the full context of what Josh Thomson was talking, because I just, I'm an MMA casual, and right, like I would know that Josh Thomson would know that John Jones defeated way more people than just, Shogun Hua, right? Like, who wasn't quote unquote in his prime. Like, he choked out Rampage Jackson, right? He stopped Vitor Belfort. He stopped Gustafsson. He defeated Cormier twice. I don't, I can't understand what Josh Thomson is talking about, or who was he comparing John Jones' record to? Like, is he saying, well, Habib Nurmagomedov is, that's my GOAT because he's in the, the 155-pound division? I don't know. Maybe he's saying GSP, maybe BJ Penn. I don't know, right? That's not in this article. So I'm not going to jump out the window and totally disagree with Josh Thomson. I'm just going to say, in my opinion, when I look at John Jones' record, when I look at the people he defeated, literally former UFC champions, two current heavyweight champions, Brandon Vera and Ryan Bader, are current champions right now. It's not like, Habib defeated people who went on to win championships, So it's like, I don't, Demetrius Johnson, did he defeat people who went on to win championships? Like, so, who would Josh Thomson consider the MMA GOAT? So like I said, I'm not gonna jump out the window because there was just two quotes in this article. But my personal opinion about why John Jones is clearly the greatest of all time is because of who he's defeated and because of his record, right? Who he has defeated on his record compared to other people in the GOATs conversation. But let me know your opinion of this story. Like I said, I'm not jumping out the window. I'm not gonna, I respect what Josh Thomson is doing. And like I said, this article just gives kind of two bad quotes about, this whole discussion. I'm pretty sure he had a full discussion with Big John. Maybe Big John gave his opinion about who he thought was the greatest, and Thomson at least gave another name as far as who he thought was the greatest, But I would say, in my opinion, when I look at John Jones' record, when I look at John Jones' opponents, I say that for that reason, none of them have come close to beating him. He defeated former champions, champions who were like in Strikeforce, champions who were in completely different organizations. He defeated two current fighters who are heavyweight champions right now. He defeated Ryan Bader, who's a current Bellator heavyweight champion, and he defeated Brandon Vera. I believe Brandon Vera is the current heavyweight champion in ONE FC. So, right, so just those two alone will put him not in the GOAT conversation, but it's just like there's a lot more people. There's like 10 names on John Jones' list of opponents he defeated that the UFC will probably eventually put in the Hall of Fame. So that's my opinion as to why I think John Jones is the greatest. Let me know your opinion about who do you think is the greatest. Do you agree with Thomson that John Jones is not the GOAT? Or do you agree with me that John Jones is the GOAT? I'm Jason, UFC. Today we had a story about Josh Thomson says John Jones is not the GOAT because he didn't fight in a talented enough weight class. I didn't go too much into the lightweight, heavyweight discussion and things like that. I'm not gonna say I think the lightweight division is a little bit overrated, right? But if we're just going off names and saying, okay, when John Jones was in the light heavyweight division, there was a bunch of nobodies. That's just not true, right? It's not true. And I think John Jones, when he was in the light heavyweight division, there were a lot of Hall of Fame type names, right? Hall of Fame type names in the 205-pound weight class that Jones defeated. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button, and please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.